And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 203K in a Box FHA Consultant Training and Marketing System and the National Association of FHA Consultants All Power Team webinar. This is your host and creator of the 203K in a Box system and Executive Director of NAFAC, Catherine Hall, welcoming you on today's call. This is going to be an open mic call, and so as you log in, I will unmute you, and if you do not have a lot of background noise, please feel free to keep your mic open and comment as you'd like and to share information. If you'd like to mute yourself, if you have noise in the background. So Mike, I hear something in the background on you, so you might want to mute yourself. Pop goes the weasel. Pop goes the weasel. Someone's playing Pop Goes the Weasel.
She can hear all that.
I can hear all that. So mute yourselves if you could, please. Okay, and that way you actually can be able to self-mute and unmute yourself if there's something you want to add as a comment. So Mike, I've muted you until you can mute yourself. Excellent. Okay, so as I said, today is going to be an open mic call, and I want to welcome you all on the call tonight. I want to thank you so much for being here this evening. I have some really exciting things to share with you, and actually not even what I had planned to share with you. The first thing I want to share with you all, and I got permission from my son. He hasn't done any postings on Facebook, but ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to my newest granddaughter. She was born yesterday morning, 9:30 something New Mexico time, and her name is Maeve Angelica, which apparently is a very Gaelic name, and my daughter-in-law is Irish and very much embraces her Irish heritage. Nora Ellen, and so that you see Nora Ellen, Christopher Thomas, and little Maeve Angelica. So that is my newest grandbaby, and so we're really excited. Every mother and daughter are back home already after less than 1 day in the hospital. So that's a fast move back home, and so we are really so excited for them. My son, as you know, is an Air Force pilot stationed in New Mexico, and I'm actually going to go spend a week in New Mexico, which is cool because we have a new member in Albuquerque. So I'm going to really try to get to spend some time out there working and helping him with his business while I'm there playing grandma. And the next thing I want to share with you, for those of you who have not been able to have a chance to talk with her lately because she's still only on part-time duty, that is what we have going on in Florida. So that is Samantha, our 203K princess, and the Duchess, Savannah Catherine, and she's now 3 months old. Look how big she is. She's a big baby, and she's playing with her new octopus toy where if you touch
it's so cute.
I know, isn't it awesome? So that's Savannah, and just like her mom and her grandma, we love to smile, and she's actually flying here tomorrow for Memorial Day weekend, so we're going to get to see them, and so we just want to let you know she's not on the call tonight. She's preparing to get on the plane tomorrow with the baby, so she's packing and everything, so she wanted me to say hi to you all. So I've had a lot of personal excitement and joy this last year, in the last few months, because Savannah was born on February 24th, and Maeve was born yesterday, which was May 23rd. So I actually have February and May there, so less than February, March, April, so 3 months apart, new grandbabies, and so that really is very exciting, and we're really so happy about that. And the other thing that I want to share with you all is our amazing conference that we had earlier this month in the 203K House of Horrors, which was in Boulder, Colorado. So I want to share with you a couple of the pictures from that event, and let me minimize these so you can see. This is the group on the first day when they were getting to know each other and just talking and sharing information with each other. We had a large group, as you can see, and we had a whole lot of time, a whole lot of excitement, and we really had a wonderful event. And let me see. Oops, hang on. Okay, great. Let me go back to that. And we had dinner that night at a brewery, and which was also a lot of fun. And this here is the group picture. See if I can get that picture in there. This is a little bit bigger maybe. Hang on. I'm going to open it up for you. And hang on for a second. Open with photo gallery. There we go. And there it comes. Okay, great. So here I can open it up for you. And there's the group that we had. We had an amazing group of gentlemen and ladies. That's my sister Linda there. And this is actually in front of the InterNACHI House of Horrors. We had an amazing time. There you can see all of us. This is the entire group that we had in the training. And let me turn this off here. Perfect. And this is the group here. This here is the group of, I don't know why that picture is so weird. Let me see if I can make it. Oops, that's not going to work. I'll take another one. All right, this is the picture. These are the winners. We had a competition. We had 3 groups. This was the green team. And we had a competition on who found the most defects in the House of Horrors, who completed the reports most successfully, who answered the most questions, and who came back on time from breaks. And so these are actually the winners. They won 203K. Actually, they won 203K cash, or Kathy Bucks, as some people want to call them. And this is actually some of our new members who've joined us, as well as some of our existing members who were winners in the of the contest that we had. So we had, this is actually some of the people who gave a few testimonials about their experience, and I won't put those up right now, but we had an absolutely amazing time at the InterNACHI House of Horrors. And our Go Green team, there you go, Jonathan. Jonathan was on the green team, and Jonathan, you're self-muted, so I know that we had Jonathan and Michael Shaver, and we had Rocky Swearingen who at the event. And so at the end of the call today, or when you guys give your sharing time, I'd love it if you talked a little bit about what your experiences were at House of Horrors, and then I'm going to tell you guys when you should start planning for our next event, because based upon the feedback from the attendees, we're actually going to make the next event actually bigger and better. So I want to thank you all so much for being on the webinar today. As I said again, this is a self-muted call, so please chime in as you choose to. Originally, the topic of this webinar was going to be FHA minimum property standards. Several of you are starting to market and use your minimum property standard reporting system, and so I was going to go into working with the FHA MPS system, how to utilize it, how to take advantage of it, but something actually happened that made me want to change the focus of this conversation. So before I actually hit the topic of today, which I won't tell you until for the next few seconds, I do want to let you know that if you are in the place where you are looking to utilize your MPS system and want to know what to do, you can get and watch the Jumpstart videos from the Power Team site. Now, as you know, the Power Team webinar, the Power Team password changes every month, and you access the password from the newsletter. So either you can get the e-newsletter and get the new password, or your printed newsletter that you get each month for our gold and diamond and silver level members. And when you get that newsletter packet, excuse me, then you can get the password for the next 2-month period. And the naming convention for the password is always the same. It is the letters. Now you'll see me write it down here. 203K is always the beginning, and then the second word is the first letter of that word is capitalized, and then the rest of the word is all lowercase. So that is the naming convention for the password. Now the password for the months of May and June is the same, and it is 203K HOUSE for House of Horrors. And so that's what the password is that will get you into the Power Team site from the 203K in a Box website. When you get to that site and scroll down, here is a 2-part series on Jumpstart your FHA MPS business. So if you're not sure how to use the MPS Minimum Property Standard Report, or want to know how to further market it, how to give a presentation using it, anything that you want to know about the MPS system, there is the 2 videos are right here. And if you don't have access to the MPS system, all you have to do is just simply send us an email or just drop me a Skype, and I'll send you a link to that file in the thumb for that is available on Dropbox. We're moving away from thumb drives and CDs and DVDs and trying to move all to digital content, and look for changes in the website in the very near future. So the look and feel of the website is going to be changing probably by July. So pay attention. It won't be nothing. You won't lose anything, but it'll be easier to work with and easier to format. So I just wanted to let you know that we were going to talk about MPS, but in lieu of that, I have something really more exciting to share with you today. Sorry about that. And what that is comes from one of our new members, Michael Shavers. Michael Shaver. And Michael is one of the individuals who attended our 203K House of Horrors. And Mike, I'd like you just real briefly, I've got you, where are you, Mike? Let's see, let me find you on here. There he is, Mike Shavers right there. Mike Shavers was one of our members, and I had challenged many of you who were going to be participating and attending this event. I challenged you to see if you could get your packet into HUD to get certified before you got to enter to the House of Horrors. So Mike, I've unmuted you. You want to briefly share what happened when you got to the House of Horrors about your certification?
Actually, I had turned all my paperwork in on the Tuesday prior to going to Boulder, and actually got email notification on that Thursday, or no, actually Friday, when we were actually at the 203 House of Horrors, and got notified that I'd been accepted and put on the roster. And just in a matter of from actually getting the paperwork together, sending it to them on Tuesday, and by Friday I was on the roster.
And what happened on Monday when you got back home?
Had a phone call from a lender over in Evansville, Indiana, to actually take over some 203K projects that had been in the start process by a consultant who had unfortunately passed away. So I had 3 projects come Monday morning.
So in less than a week, he not only got certified, but he came back home and found that he had projects in the works. Now, when Mike got these projects, they were in various stages of completeness. And I said to Mike, what did I tell you, Mike?
You told me you got my back, and trust me, you've had my back.
I said, go ahead and take them. Don't worry about them. And what we're going to do today is we're going to be talking about one of the projects he's taken over, because it is so very unique and so very challenging, okay? And I want you to know something. Mike, I think Mike can attest to this, and many of you can who've had me help you with projects. Do I not love my job? Do I love working with you guys?
Exactly.
So we spent 2 hours today on a coaching call because he got a project, and I'm going to share the screen now. Okay, here's the project that he received, and when he received the project from the lender, what he got was, let me go to my email. He got a copy of the consultant's work write-up that had been created from when the consultant went to closing, okay? And so he got his paperwork, and let me see if I can find this here. There you go. Okay, great. So I'm going to open this up. And so the loan officer sent him an email, and he forwarded it to me, and he said, thank you for speaking with me today. I've attached the work write-up, the bid, and supplier draw. If you need any further information, please let me know. The contractor's name and his number, and this is Lisa Bowler from Movement Mortgage. So her office is located in Virginia Beach. The project is located in Indiana. Michael is located in Kentucky, but he actually had just completed his licensing certification exam in Indiana, and so he's able to do projects in Indiana. So I told Mike what to ask for. I said, make sure they give you a copy of the work write-up, a copy of the contractor's proposal, and any other details, and if they gone to draws, we need anything paperwork we can get. And so what Michael did was he got the copy of the draw request, and The consultant who did the project, I try not to speak ill of the dead, but he did not do a project that was giving anyone the opportunity to really help this client well, okay? It was very sketchily done. It was really, I mean, I don't want to speak ill, but it was poorly written, and it's been very difficult for us to work with it. And so this is the initial draw that was created, signed by all parties. And this is the final work write-up summary. This is using the software from Corporate Niche, so I was quite familiar with the software. And here's a specification of repairs that he created. And there's a couple things about it that I noticed that I thought were really not good from the standpoint of working with the consultation report. First of all, he put zeros in every single category, even if there's nothing to be done, which I think is more confusion than clarity. So the project is only $36,000. So as you can see, the first page was nothing but zeros. The second page was nothing but zeros, including the exterior section, which is going to be important in a minute. The third page was nothing but zeros. The fourth page was nothing but zeros. The fifth page had nothing but zeros. We had to get to page 6 before we got to any actual documentation of activity. And I want you to pay close attention to this line item here, category 17, item number 1. Now his does not have it numerated the way we do in Genesis. In Genesis you can see number 1, number 2, which makes it easier. And you can see that he's installing glue, lamb, beam, and ceiling in the kitchen, and that's the material and labor costs. It's going to be important for you to pay attention to. Plaster and drywall. Decorating. Now, here's something that I want to ask you a question. He's got remove popcorn texture from ceiling, patch walls and ceiling under the plaster and drywall. He's putting in new lambs, and he's putting in a wall to support a countertop, like a knee wall for like a bar counter type. But what do you notice under decorating? Who wants to comment?
Zeros.
Zeros. So what is missing from this write-up? A paint number. Anytime you put in drywall of any kind, or ceiling or wall repair, you need to put primer coat. So we're going to patch the walls and ceilings, but he doesn't have any reference to the priming of these new drywall areas. So that was the first glaring thing that I saw in this write-up when we worked over to it. He's got a whole bunch of crown molding here. Then we got some more zeros, okay. Then he's got finished flooring, prep floors, and install laminate. So now, and he also has carpet in bedrooms. What do you see missing from here? Anyone want to chime in? Who wants to tell me what they think that they see missing from this? And I'm unmuting some of you who just signed in. What do you think you should have? Hold on, let me shut the door. There you go. Sorry about that. Dog saw a squirrel. So what do you feel is something you would want to make sure you included in this write-up that's missing from here for clarity purposes? A material allowance. There's no material allowance for the cost of the laminate or the cost of the carpeting. And so if there's any kind of a problem, there's no way to know how much of this number is for prepping, how much is it for the flooring. There's no square footage, nothing. And this basically says location is general. Well, what do you mean general? There's no general location. It's either first floor, second floor, third floor, whatever, basement, bedrooms. Why? How can you have the phrase general? So now think of what Mike is having to go through. He's having to come in blind with no ability to refer to the previous consultant to find out what he actually meant by this. So all he can do is go by the contractor. Here you have zeros again. Then you have some plumbing numbers. And here I thought this was very, very vague and really unsupportive of the project. You can see where he has on here minor repairs, the location general, 40-gallon water heater, location general. So now, Mike Shaver, is there a basement at this property?
Yes.
So is that where the water heater is going to be placed?
Water heaters in the basement, yes.
So the location that should have been identified should have been basement. And you notice where he says minor repairs, general location, $50 in materials, $150 in labor, with no description of what that means. Is it faucet leaks? Is it shower head leaks? Is it spigots and is it the shutoff at the main water line? Is it some shutoff valves in the ceiling of the basement? No clarity whatsoever to make this easily understood by you or anyone else who's working with this project. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
And might I add that none of the plumbing is there either.
What do you mean? What do you mean none of the plumbing is there?
I mean, it's stubbed in, but I mean, there's no faucets or no nothing. It's just stubbed in.
So the house was actually, they gutted it already, or it was not there at all?
No, it's been gutted and everything's been stubbed and been relocated. But you know, as far as you know, his description was just like you said, very vague.
And the price was very low. Here's another area showing you improper reporting, which makes it hard to follow after the close of the loan. Look what he had. Look what the contractor has put down for electrical in the kitchen. Rework kitchen electric. What does that mean? Now, from what Mike described, it's supposed to mean that they're relocating outlets and appliances and things for the new kitchen layout, which is what should be told. Rework the kitchen electric does not help me understand what I'm doing or how I'm doing it or why. And as you can see, there is no summary. And as you can also see, not only did this get approved by a lender, but it also went through an appraisal and is now in the draw process. Service the HVAC system. What does that mean to me? Was there excessive dirt in the unit? Was it not heating correctly? Are we servicing the AC? Do we need to put condensation insulation on the condensate lines? What does this mean to me so that when I'm inspecting it, I know how to qualify that the contractor has done it correctly? So when you write this report, you write this with the intent that if for some reason someone else in my company or someone else apart from me has to qualify these repairs, it's easily understood, and also to make sure that the contractor doesn't misinterpret your intentions.
Yeah, isn't that the primary thing in writing it? Is it so the contractor knows exactly what page you're on?
Exactly.
And when you come in to do the draw inspection, you know exactly what he's done and what he hasn't done.
Exactly. There's no way to know what's been done or what. It's exactly right.
That sounds like Jack.
Now that was not Jack. That was Tom Kruger. I don't think
like Jack.
It sounds like Jack Jackson. Yeah, Jack's not on the call tonight. Now, the cabinetry number. I want you to pay attention to this because this is where we spent a lot of time today on this call. And then we had nothing for appliances, nothing in basement. You notice that there's nothing in basement, nothing in cleanup. We're replacing drywall. We're reworking a kitchen electric. We're putting in kitchen cabinetry. We're gutting a kitchen. We're putting in new carpet. We're putting in new laminate flooring. And there's not a single number for cleanup. Does that make sense to you guys?
There's also not a number for a dumpster.
There's no dumpster, nothing. Exactly. I want you to see.
They actually had that's another thing that I forgot to talk to you about earlier. This contractor came back in, and apparently they had a contractor or a dumpster out there at some point, and he is supposedly refunding $325 to the borrower for the cost of that dumpster, but there was no dumpster on site when I was there.
So, and that's a cost that the borrower can get reimbursed out of contingency. And here's the most important thing I want you never to do. Do not put anything in miscellaneous unless it can absolutely positively not go anywhere else. Lenders don't like it, and it's not good for you. Here we have remove wall by front door. So this is an exterior. It's at the entry. And I had to actually pull teeth to get Mike to explain, where is this? He's like, it's on the outside. So this should have been put in exterior.
Exterior.
This should have been put under the exterior of the property, and it should have been explained what we're doing. When we remove the wall, what else are we doing? And here you have location general, build up dirt at corner of house where water is seeping in basement. So who wants to tell me where that should go? Building up soil.
Exterior.
Yeah,
not exterior, grading and landscaping.
Landscaping.
That belongs in grading and landscaping. And then he's got a structural engineer. Why? What's he supposed to be doing? How much is it supposed to cost, and what? So now, ladies and gentlemen, Samantha is not on the webinar tonight, as I mentioned. I just heard a large clap of thunder. We've been having nothing but rainstorms the last week. So if I drop off the call, please just stay on the line. I will come back in, but in case we lose power, okay? So this is an example of a poorly worded work write-up, and I'm not trying to dwell on that. What I want to dwell on is the fact that the lender does not always do what HUD tells them to do. One of the things that we talked about at the 203K day, Discovery Days, we were very fortunate to have a loan officer there. And who wants to say what the loan officer said was the actual thing that happens with a 203K, especially when it comes to an appraiser? Jonathan? Or Chad? What did he make sure that we knew?
The minimum standards.
No, actually no, Luke, no, Nelson. What we found out, what I confirmed, but actually I got confirmation of, because I'd already been telling you all this. Go ahead.
No, keep going, keep going.
Okay. The lender can choose to ignore an appraiser's comments and can choose to accept a consultant's report over an appraiser. The lender has the discretion to choose what information he wants to use and whose information he will take. The appraiser is
overlay.
the lender overlays, exactly, to the point where an appraiser may call for something or not call for something, but if the consultant has a different comment, he will take the consultant's opinion over the appraiser 9 times out of 10. Okay? And so here you see this consulting report, and they use electronic signatures, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But what I want to show you now is the other document that the lender sent to Mike. So I'm going to make it so you can really see this. Now remember, the total amount of the project was over $45,000. So this was a full 203K. What do you see here?
That's a check for a draw.
Yeah. This was a check that was issued to the contractor at closing. Not to a material supplier, but to the contractor.
Yep.
The check was to pay $11,397.24 because, and let me rotate this so you can see it better. This is where it got really messy. Because the contractor had said at closing, the client wants all these kitchen cabinetries and I can't afford this money. I need you to give me the money to pay for the kitchen cabinet so I can order it. So he provided to the client a purchase order from Home Depot for kitchen cabinetry. Now, I want to point something out here. I hope you can see this. I'm going to make it even a little bit bigger, hopefully. All right, great. I want you to notice something that's very important about this proposal, this purchase order from Home Depot. What does this say?
Total due for install.
This is the cost for Home Depot to install the cabinets.
Yeah.
Labor.
Labor. This should not be in here.
No.
The contractor is the one who's supposed to be installing these cabinets.
Yep.
So now you've got a lender who didn't pay attention, and then what they did to make matters worse, okay?
It's only one party check.
Thank you. And who's the party?
The contractor.
The contractor. Who should
He can walk.
He can walk. Thank you. Who should this check have been made payable to?
On the,
Home Depot.
Home Depot. And it should have been mailed or hand delivered and cut to and given to the borrower.
yeah.
You don't want to make the check payable to Home Depot and give it to the contractor, because what could he do with it then? Pay for another project.
Go on a vacation.
Well, not if it's made payable to Home Depot, but as it stands now, there's nothing that keeps this contractor from taking this $11,000 and buying a new car
Exactly.
or paying to finish another project or doing anything. Is this not frightening, guys? Okay? No wonder the consultant died. He didn't want to deal with this.
Just remember, I got this dumped in my lap on a Monday morning, and that's what you really call a Monday morning.
Yeah, he got this dumped in his lap on a Monday morning when the client and the contractors, you can see this basically went to closing on April 26th. Okay? And this quote was updated on April 30th. And so the client got a discount for the cabinetry, so they got a 20% savings for paying for it because the stuff was on sale. So instead of being $13,114, the total cost of the cabinetry and countertop, including installation, is $11,397.24.
Question.
Yes.
Did the contractor contract with Home Depot to install it?
Yes.
Ha.
Which is not supposed to be. And if he did, when should that labor money be paid?
After it's installed.
After it's installed. Are we having a good time?
Oh, boy.
So let's see who gets surprised today. And I might even actually send somebody some 203K cash for this answer. Does anybody remember what the amount was that's in the work write-up for kitchen cabinetry?
No, I don't remember. Didn't see it. $4,000?
I'm going to show you because it's right here.
20 or 30 grand?
Try again. It was. I'll show it to you now. Okay. I remember even it said, pay attention to this number. So what Mike did was he got the write-up from the original consultant, and he got paid a $400 project takeover fee even before he went out there just for the process of keying all this into Genesis to be able to go out and do the evaluation today that he did the other day. And then he also is getting paid the draw fees for going out and doing it. So here you see the cabinetry number. What is the total amount of the kitchen cabinetry?
11,000.
11,000 and 11,011. What is the amount of the check?
11,397.
So what does that say to us? The lender over dispersed on the category.
Yep.
So they were supposed to only give this client was only supposed to get $11,011.07 to Home Depot.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, the check was cut for $11,397.24.
Where did they get that number from?
They got it off the proposal, but the proposal did not match up with the work write-up. They didn't confirm the work write-up before they cut the check.
Oh, Jesus.
And this was thrown in Mike's lap.
See, they got that 11,397 from where they took the 20% off of the original cabinetry order and just wrote the check for that number.
So I want to share with you what we did today, because what we had to do was we had to take this information and turn it into an appropriate draw. So now we have several problems with this project. And when Mike went out, and as I explained to Mike, in order for you to be able to know what to do with any draw, all you need to do is go step by step by step down the draw request activities. So the first thing I said to Mike when we got on our call today is, do you have all of your permits? And his answer was, no.
None provided.
None provided. So everything that he's done, all the work that he put into this project, all the work that we put in today, won't be releasing a check until the permits are obtained. And since he's taken over this project, part of the $400 service fee for taking over the project requires that he will confirm with the township those that are needed before submitting the draw for payment. So now what we did was, because this project was such a hot mess, we actually created this document that Mike is going to send to the lender to let them know what's going on. Because when Mike went out to the property, he knew things were not what they were supposed to be. He called the loan officer and said, things are not right. What did the lender say to you, Mike?
She basically, the first words out of her mouth, she started spitting, need change orders, and don't change the scope of the SOR because that will just confuse things.
And exactly right, because you can't change the amount in the SOR. So I can't change my SOR, but they've over-dispersed the category. How do I make this work? So the first thing we did was we identified that we need to have the permit submitted before we'll even submit this draw, and Mike's going to call the township in Indiana to find out what permits are needed. He thinks that all they need is a general building permit. Secondly, a situation arose where the contractor, as soon as Mike got out to the property, the contractor said to him, excuse me, you go back to the project? The contractor said to him, let me go back to the work write-up. I'm going to keep that open. I think I did have it open. Yeah, there it is. The contractor said to Mike when he got out there, oh, we had a structural engineer. Hang on for a second. I'm going to hit the play button. There it is. I didn't have the play button. Hey, sorry.
There you go.
Okay. So let me go back to the letter. This is the letter that we've started, that we created, that he's going to be sending to the lender to explain to him what his results are from the draw, what are the things that he's doing, and what's going to have to happen before they're going to get a draw submitted for payment. And it's going to CC the contractor and the borrower. Because here's the thing. He went out to the property, and this line item here for $45.54.55 for installing a glue-lam beam in the ceiling, contractor said to him, oh, we don't need to do that. We had a structural engineer, and he told us we don't need it. So we're going to need to use that money to do other things. And my question was, do you have...
Where's the letter?
Thank you. Exactly. Where's the letter?
It's in the cloud.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what cloud? It's not in the cloud. It's in his imagination. So here you see where one of the change orders that we had to do was to make Mike Shaver the new consultant, okay? And then here's the situation. We need the contractor to send a letter from an engineer that says specifically that no lam beam is required in the kitchen ceiling before you will authorize the cost savings change order to move the funds to the contingency for use in other areas. And that when you receive this proof, then you will submit the document to the lender for pre-approval to move the money with the cost savings change order signed by all parties, and if provided, the amount that to be moved will be $45.54, because apparently the contractor keeps throwing out his new proposals on his letterhead saying, I need this amount of money, I need that amount of money. So the question is, what do you mean you need this amount of money? You don't get anything except what's in the scope of work. So explain, Mike, what you did receive from the structural engineer and why it doesn't work.
Actually, I'll just go through it. Basically, it just said that he went out and basically was to check the concrete block wall out of the basement foundation. Purpose of the inspection was to observe and concerns regarding possible foundation damage due to water leaking into basement. It has nothing to mention about the glue lam beam in the kitchen whatsoever.
And another thing, and Jonathan pointed it out a few minutes ago, he does not know any structural engineer who will do anything for $475. I know a few will give you a report for that money. But here's the point. You've got $475 for the contractor to give a structural engineer hired to look at the main house. Lovely. I don't even know what the heck that says. What is he looking at? Why is he looking at it? What's he supposed to be saying? This is what was on the original contractor's write-up, and Mike just copied it over onto Genesis. So we don't know how much the amount was that the engineer charged because we did not get a receipt or an invoice from that engineer. And so here you can see, I wrote here, issues with miscellaneous category 35.3 is a payment for a structural engineer, have a report, but no receipt of the amount paid or due, will pay when receipt is provided. Because even though I'm sure the price is pretty substantial, what if the structural engineer only charged him $250? If he did, that means $225 needs to be moved to contingency.
Yep.
And the same thing with the permits. There's no number in this work write-up for permit fees. Where is that going to come from? Contingency. So we need to have those permits, and he's done apparently a lot of work. So now let's talk about this cabinetry and countertop situation. And I want to show you what I did with Mike, because this was his first time doing a draw, and because he was not familiar with what he needed to do when he was out at the property. And again, he just got approved, you know, a week before he went out to the property, so he hadn't had a chance to study up on change orders or draw processing, because usually, as I tell you all, I teach you to the test. So I usually, once you get your approval, the first thing I start training you is what to do to get your phone to ring, or what to do when the phone rings, and then what to do when you go out to the property, how to do a preliminary work write-up. But Mike skipped right to step D, and so I wanted to show him how to manage this process. So what we basically did on a call today, and it was recorded, was we went through every single line item, and I created a spreadsheet, and I told him that you don't need to create a spreadsheet as I did here. All you need to do is write it on the actual printed copy of the SOR you're going to take with you out in the field. And so I said, so we literally went down every line item, and so I said, okay, in electrical, what was this part done? Was the rework of the kitchen done? And so I got Mike to think about, well, yeah, it looked like it was almost all done. What do you mean almost done? Were the outlets in the wall? Were there covers on the outlets? Could you test the electric? Oh, no, I couldn't do any of that. I said, well, then it's not almost done. So I said, so you think maybe it might be more like 75% done? He says, oh, yeah, I think maybe so. So here you see 28.1. So this is category 28, item number 1. So 28.1. We determined that it was 75% complete. So what I did was I showed him how I took 75% of the material, 75% of the labor, and that told me what the total amount was going to be on the draw. Now when you go into Genesis, you can simply, and you're keying in your draw, you can simply put the percentage 75.75, and it will automatically calculate that for you. So on your SOR, you can just write 1 with a circle, meaning draw 1, and then 75%, and that will let you know. Or 1 and 150, or whatever you feel that you need to do is the amount you're dispersing, so you can keep track on here when you're in the field. So now if you see here on this Excel spreadsheet, you can see here where my cabinetry number, they paid $11,397. We only had $11,000 to have, so I've got a $386.17 shortfall. So we're going to show you what I did with that. So what we did, we went through all the categories, and I asked Mike, think about what is done. How much is done? Was anything done on the heating? No. Was anything done? Well, yeah, the engine. Was anything done here? Yeah, they actually had removed the wall, and there was a piece of tarp covering the hole in the ground where the wall is. I said, okay, so that's the only thing that's done to date on this category. And so then what we did was we went into Genesis, and the first page, if it's the first draw, you have to indicate the number of permits. Genesis will not let you create your first draw unless you have your permits. I'm here to protect you from submitting draws badly. So we put the number 1 in, and we're not going to submit this draw until he has all those permits. And then you can see here we have a pre-approval change order to be submitted, and we have a post-approval change order. And that post-approval change order, I'm going to show you what they are in a minute. And so here you can see the invoice for change order processing fee is also included. So those are the check boxes that will appear on his cover page. And I'm actually logged into his account with his permission. So this is what his cover page looks like. So you see I had the 1 permit. It's a draw request form signed by all parties, contractor's lien waiver, invoice for inspection fee, pre-approval, requesting approval, post-approval, inspection report, invoice, lien waiver, and invoice for change order processing fee. So all the appropriate boxes are checked off on his draw, and that's what we want. So now let's go back. The next thing we have to do is our amounts. So now you can see that, okay, well, I thought you said it was 75%. it was 75% of one of the line items, not the entire category. So therefore, I was only putting in what was for that specific line item. So it's 75% of line number 1, so the total amount is 525. It's 100% of 17.2, item number 2, so it's only 157.30. So here you can see in Genesis the 157.30, the 1600, and all the numbers going down to create the draw. Okay? Now, you may find yourself, I hope not, in a situation like Mike, where you have to deal with an environment where the lender has given a contractor money before they've actually done the work. So now let me ask you this. As a consultant, completing a draw, okay, and we're going to go to draw request page number 2. I'm going to hit the preliminary. I'm going to hit the draw to show you this. I'm going to make it bigger. Okay. Would somebody read this, tell me what this sentence says here? It says, I certify that I have carefully inspected this property on this date. The draw amounts are acceptable except as modified in column 4. I further certify that I have not accepted any work that is not yet completed in a workmanlike manner, and I recommend that the rehabilitation escrow funds be released for the completed work. So now, the contractor has already received $11,300 and some odd dollars for cabinetry he is supposed to have ordered. We have not seen a purchase order showing paid in full from Home Depot, but we've got this money already paid out of our write-up. Do we want to put that deduction on this draw? Yes or no?
Why wouldn't you?
Because you didn't inspect the work. So now you are certifying that all work has been completed and that the amounts are acceptable based upon the work performed. Can
But
you?
You just brought it up. There's a check that's been issued, but we haven't got a corresponding
Anything. You haven't a corresponding nothing.
There's nothing corresponding to that the amount of money that's been, and you can't say that you've seen the cabinets because they aren't on site.
That's right. So what do you do? Anybody have an idea? I wouldn't think you would, because this was something that I had to do, and I had a good time doing it, but it was something I had to be very careful about doing. And here's what we did. And also remember,
you got very excited.
I did. Didn't I get excited? I had a ball. So here's the thing. It's not just that it's not just that we advanced the money on the cabinetry category. We over dispersed it. So not only can I not verify that the funds were installed, that the money was properly used for work in the house, because I can't, but it's not even the right amount. So this is how I got creative. And this is where being a member of NAFAC pays off for you, because you now know what to do. So I'm going to go to the letter, and here's what we did. And so read along with me. The amount escrowed for cabinetry countertop was $11,011. The amount paid based upon a Home Depot purchase order is $11,397. There's a shortage. This will need to come out of contingency. However, the amount of $11,397 has already been paid as an advance, which, by the way, is not appropriate according to HUD guidelines for a standard/full 203K project. If a materials draw is issued, it is supposed to be for 50% of the material amount and paid directly to the supplier, in this case Home Depot. Contractor needs to provide a receipt that the funds were paid to Home Depot. So now remember, we're sending this to the lender. Why am I telling the lender this?
Their screw up.
Their screw up. It's their screw up, and I'm not going to have it come back on Mike. And Mike, what was the one thing that I told you to make sure you got everybody to sign before you stepped across your own threshold out the door?
Basically, I drew up a letter basically stating that my point of responsibility began at the point of the actual signing of the check given to me to take the project over, and that I was not responsible or liable for anything that had transpired from that day back.
And so they wrote the check yesterday. He went out to the property, I believe, yesterday.
Yes,
So his liability for what happens does not start until now. And everybody had to sign that. And Mike, do me a favor and put a copy of that to me on Skype, because how many of you would like to have a copy of that document? Raise your hands or say aye.
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 Okay, so if you find yourself taking over a project, this keeps you from being considered liable for what was done by the prior consultant. Because as you can see, this prior consultant did not do what he should have done. I would love to have seen the photos that he had created from before the job closed. So,
Hey, Catherine,
yes,
how can I minimize this screen and go out to actually get that and bring it back in where you can grab it?
well, basically what you have to do is just at your bottom bar, just click your Skype button or click any folder, and it'll minimize, it'll take you away from GoToWebinar.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what we had to do, and I'll go back into Genesis. We went into Draw Form 2 and clicked the button that says we're doing a change order. And then once we click that button that says we're doing a change order, the change order window went red because we had to enter the change orders. So this is what I did to fix this problem to make sure it was accurately calculated. The first thing I did, let me see if I can zoom in so you can see it easier. Come on, zoom. All right, great, that's better. So the first thing that I did was I moved the money from the cabinetry category, from the specification of repairs, into contingency. I wanted to get it out of my available funds because it was no longer available. But I was not going to make it as a payment in the draw because A, it would have made the contractor possibly get another check, okay, for that amount. And
Yeah.
B, right, and B, it was also something I hadn't inspected, so therefore I wasn't going to sign on page 2 of the draw saying that I had inspected that work. But I needed that money out of my account. So I created a change order and I added to the contingency the $11,000 to move it for disbursement from the materials advance check. Then I paid it out by deducting the full amount of what the actual check was from contingency, referencing the movement mortgage material check for the cabinetry order, which was over dispersed. So now my contingency has now been reduced by the extra amount that was over dispersed, so that when we start spending money in the contingency, I don't accidentally use more contingency than I have because we've over dispersed this loan.
Brilliant.
You guys like that?
Yep.
Now, when I print this off, I'm going to put on here, do not pay to contractor, check was already cut, because these stupid loan officers would actually cut the man a check, okay? All right, and so I'm also not going to I'm not going to deliver the lien waiver. If I don't have him sign a lien waiver, then he will not be paid. So here I'm going to edit this comment here, and we try not to put a lot of words in here because it shrinks it on the page, but I'm going to make big fat letters, do not release any funds to contractor for this change order.
Catherine, I've got that letter now. How do I get it to where you can see it?
Send it to me on Skype.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
And then I can drag it in.
Okay.
So we put in the change order that takes the money and puts it from the cabinetry category into the contingency. Then we take the money out of the contingency and pay it and actually make it so that it shows that the contractor got paid. And I will have him sign this verifying that he did get paid. Otherwise, he may act stupid. And then this is the change order that I created to let everyone know that M. Shaver A1093 is assigned the consultant of record with the date of the draw. And then he also gets his $100 change order processing fee for processing these 3 change orders. You guys like that?
in your Skype now.
Thank you. I have to log out and log into Skype. Okay, so I'll log into that Skype. Excuse me. So this is what I had to come up with, creative financing as we call it, to let the lender know that this is properly dispersed. So now let's go back to our draw. And so here you see our lien waivers. So now this is going to create a lien waiver. And this is the lien waiver for the $7,000 less 10%. And then here are the draw inspection folders that Mike loaded in. So here you can see, now something that he talked about was, if you notice right here, and the picture's a little small, but that's because it's in the system here, the gutter is actually, if I'm not mistaken, Mike, you said the gutter is looped around the service entrance cable?
Yeah, well, it's actually detached from the house partially and laying in the actual, well, you can see it laying in the drip loop of the service cable.
Isn't that nice? Mm-hmm. And here's something that this was missed by the original consultant and not noted as a repair. So now, Mike, you said that, or the appraiser, guys. Okay, yeah. So you've got to understand, these appraisers are not the end all. Trust me. So now, Mike.
Is this guy a home inspector?
I beg your pardon?
Was this guy a home inspector at all?
He's dead now, so it doesn't matter.
We don't know what he was.
We don't know what, we just know he's dead now, okay? So it's all
I can tell you is when I walked up to the property, I'm like, holy crap, how can all this stuff be going on? How did they get past the outside to get to the inside?
So now, Mike, I did a little bit of research in my notes. You're going to order this repair to be done because this is a safety and soundness repair. It is new to the loan, but it must be done. Okay, so you're going to tell the contractor that he needs to give you a change order for what he's going to charge to complete this correction, because this takes precedence over a cost increase for more expensive flooring. Okay.
You want me to mention when I brought it to their attention, what his response was?
Yeah, go ahead and tell everybody what his response was.
I pointed it out to him that that was laying in the service entrance to the home, and the contractor and the borrower's response was, "Oh yeah, we know about that. We'll take care of it."
Yeah, we'll get to it later. No, you won't. You will get to it now. Okay.
I went through the process expecting. I hope that what you've done to this point isn't for naught, because you come over here one day and the house is burnt to the ground.
Exactly. So there is a new repair that is a significant, I can't spell, safety defect that will need to be included in the work performed and completed using contingency funds. Electrical service mast in contact with gutter. Okay, so basically this is telling the loan officer everything that we're going to do. Contractor will need to submit a change order for this cost. I will then submit to you, to lender, for pre-approval. And remember, this is actually the letter he's sending to the loan officer. And granted, yes, we went to a lot of more work than what you're going to do in a typical draw, because you're going to start it off right. That's why I wanted you to see. Okay, and no, service conductors are not the responsibility of utility companies in my state, at least. It might be in yours, but in Pennsylvania, if it touches your house, it's your responsibility.
Yep.
That's the way it is here too.
Yeah, so Vince Vargas typed in, isn't the service conductor responsibility of the utility company? Not around here. There's too many of them. They couldn't afford to take care of that. That'd be a real big kick in the tail. So that is, so as you can see in the pictures, You've got plumbing coming up. You've got the gutted kitchen. You've got whole areas. Now look here. This is a framed out section of wall to the basement area. Where's the drywall for this wall? Who's putting that in? That's not in our number. There's no number for drywall in the living room.
The only thing included in the numbers that we got was for putting the hot water heater in, and that next picture to the right, that's the location for the new hot water heater, and this picture here is where they actually tore the old water heater out. And then the one she's on, the one you just left, is actually where there was damage coming in to the basement. And you can see they've already studded that out, and this is where the structural engineer said that there was no concern.
Okay,
and
well, that's lovely.
Went and studded all that out.
They studied it all out. So now the question I have, more importantly, is this area here, is this the basement or is this the first floor?
No, this is in the basement.
Okay.
It's right directly across from where they tore the old water heater out. They're just like moving it like 3 feet.
So now this section here, is this the steps going down the basement or going up to the first floor?
No, it's going down into the basement.
So now this section here with the drywall, this is the first time I'm seeing these photos, guys. Is this section, is this framed out on the opposite side entering the room or no?
Yeah, you can actually see the drywall there on the opposite side.
Okay, it is drywall on the opposite. Okay, it looked like it was open, and if it was open, it would need to be redone. Okay.
Right.
So now, where's the bathroom? There's no bathroom.
No, I didn't even take any pictures of the bathroom. Well, there was nothing for the bathroom.
It was nothing in the bathroom. I would recommend when you take over a project, you need to take pictures of all the areas, because you got to make sure if there's any new items that you find, just like we did here, that you make sure you point that out. And so this is where the wall was taken down?
No, this is actually another deal that is not even mentioned in the scope whatsoever. There's a massive slope that comes down from that side of the house, and water and everything was running down. You can actually see where the water and the mud and everything was going in here, and it was actually going in and up against that basement door. And the borrowers have actually just basically dug a trench there to catch that and run it away, so it don't do that anymore.
Oh God!
That wasn't even in the scope of the work.
This project really probably needed another $5,000 or $7,000 worth of repairs. Do you guys agree?
Easy.
Okay. And I'll be curious. We'll be keeping track with you, Mike, as you continue to, because I'm sure we're going to want to hear what the conversation is that the contractor is going to have with you once you lay the law down.
He's probably going to be livid, but
I've
been in that situation before, so it don't bother me any.
There you go. Now, did you have any trouble getting the pictures in?
No.
Okay.
No, I had them downsized enough. They went right in.
They were downsized enough. Okay, great. Because I shared with him the program called Fast Image Resizer, which is a great file program. You can drop an entire folder into it, and it creates a new, smaller JPEG files into a new folder that you can then use for your Genesis pictures. So we indicated who our loan officers are, and then we need to go into our fee invoice and add the additional change order, fee for the change order. I want to explain something to you that I talked about when we were in the House of Horrors. When a person, when you're trying to get payment, or when a contractor is getting payment, there's 2 documents required to make a person get paid. For the contractor, the 2 documents are the draw form and a lien waiver, or a change order and a lien waiver. For the consultant, in order for you to get paid, it's the draw form and your invoice, or the change order and your invoice. So you need to make sure that you document not just on the change order, but on the change order and the invoice what the repairs are. Now, we have a new member. They just joined us, and she had been submitting change order forms for change order fees and was never getting paid. And I said to her, I said, "Are you documenting it on your invoice?" She said, "No." I said, "Well, you'll never get paid. It's a 2-part process. It is the change order form or the draw form and documentation on your invoice." Does that make sense? So his invoice has 2 line items, one for the draw processing and one for the change order, processing 3 change orders with draw 1. So let me make that change orders. There you go, and then submit. Okay, so another thing that I want to let you know about, which we've made some modifications in Genesis, when you're writing in your draw page 2, you need to select at least one of these items. So now, I did not check the button that says no non-compliance because I got a lot of non-compliance here. He has deliberately not done work that's in the scope of work, stating that he has verification from a structural engineer that the kitchen doesn't need a steel lamb, but I have not seen that. So to me, that's non-compliance because the write-up ordered for a steel lamb. So there is non-compliance. It is not an acceptable variation, and it is not an on-site improvement. So these 3 columns are for things that you're saying you're happy with. Over here is where you're saying stuff that you are unhappy. So here I'm saying unable to make inspection, explain below. And so that's where I put 1. Contractor needs to provide proof from engineer. Now you can keep writing and even though you don't see it, the entire sentence that you put will appear on the page 2 of the draw, perfectly written. So here you can see that the whole sentence is there. So now, correction essential as explained below, unable to make inspection. So I'm going to put 2A. I left this unopened so you guys could see it. So for 2A, cost of cabinetry paid in materials advance addressed using change orders number 1 and 2, including over disbursement of available funds. Okay, that's line item number 2. That's what I'm saying. 2A. So 2B would be the fact that we need a structural engineer to verify that we don't need to put the steel lamb, so don't seal up that ceiling, because if we don't get that, you're going to have to cut it open and put a steel beam. And so that's why I put here, contractor needs to provide proof from engineer, I'm unable to inspect it. And also, we have a situation where we're going to have to verify that the contractor needs to provide permits. Or actually, he will have provided by the time we submit this. So that's okay. So basically all repairs identified in draw request completed as noted. So now that is what we put in here. We hit submit data, and now we're going to hit the preview. And so page 1, you can see, has all the areas here, and there's $0 in this previous draw category. There's no money here either because I moved it to the contingency because I am not going to ever certify that this cabinetry is done until it's installed. And it's already been paid for, so it doesn't really matter. And here you can see the lines are nicely listed right there. Okay? So even though it looks like it only can hold a few words, it will fill the available space. But don't go crazy. Okay, guys?
And one thing that you might want to add there too, the ceiling has already been put back in place.
Oh, really? Well, that's his fault. He better. That's why I said do not conceal. So that's on him. If he has done that, that's on him. So now this draw is ready to go. And I want to show you the master summary of funds. Every time you complete a draw, it will create a spreadsheet for you that shows you exactly where your money is gone. And so now you can see here, this is a change order. And so this $11,000 was subtracted from the cabinetry number. It was added to the contingency, but $11,497, because it was the $397 plus the $100 for the invoice the fee for processing have been subtracted, so my new contingency reserve amount is $3206.83. And there you can see the change orders. There you can see the starting balance and the current balance. So how many of you have been referring to this Master Summary of Funds report? Anyone? It's a great report to send to the lender with your draw request to show where you stand to get verification. And it's also a great way for the contractor to see what's available in his categories and as a snapshot of what's happening with the change orders. Okay, so that's always available to you, and it will always remain. You never have to worry about it because it stores in, so you can always pull up, and it makes a new one following each draw. So now we have our project. We can sign it. We're not going to finalize it. We now can print and preview our full draw paperwork. So does anybody have any questions about the type of creativity that you need to do sometimes to protect you legally, but to cover the lender's bases?
It's called Call Catherine.
So there you can see the full draw paperwork. His signature is in there. Here is the change order for the cabinetry. Move the money into contingency. Then here is where we moved it out. Here is the, now this lien waiver we are not going to send. When we print these pages, we're going to delete this because he doesn't get this money. He already got it. And in fact, if they were going to give him a check, what should they have given him? Less the 10%.
Less 10% of the 11,000, yeah.
So they went sideways on this, on every possible way you could do wrong, okay? And here's where the miscellaneous, due to the death of prior consultant, Mike Shaver is now assigned to the project. And here is the processing fee. Now, this is the lien waiver that's generated for this change order for Mike, but you don't have to worry about that. You just ignore this one as well. This is the change order for the whole project. This is based upon the whole job. Excuse me, the lien waiver that the contractor signs for the whole project.
That's the one that when I send this package, I send it to them for signatures.
Yes. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to save this or print the PDF, and we're going to pick specific pages that we're going to print. Now I'm going to basically just print the PDF, and I'm going to select the pages. Now this says page 1. You can do a selection. Actually, I can print all of them. Excuse me. Microsoft Print to PDF, or we can just basically hit the button here to download the whole file, and then I'm going to show you how you can use Adobe Acrobat to delete certain pages. So I'm going to hit OK. And this is the last thing we're going to talk about, and then for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to ask all of you to share some of your special activities, what's going on in your world. And so here you can see we've got the 15 pages. And what Mike is going to do is, and I will show you, we went over this in the tech call, but what he's going to do is he's going to send this out for signature using Acrobat Reader. I'm not going to do it on my side because it's in my name and it'll have my email address. But he's going to, but here's how you take pages out. You can go into the button here that says Organize Pages. Whatever my Organize Pages. Tools. Organize Pages. Where's my Organized Pages?
Second line, second from the right.
Thank you. I was losing my mind. Thanks, Chad.
You're welcome.
The Chad. I just saw that movie the other day. I thought about you. You know what movie I'm talking about, don't you?
Oh, I know. I think I've known that ever since 2000.
Oh my gosh, you poor thing. Okay, so I'm going to save this. First I have to save it. File, save, file. save as, where was it? I got it back out. There it is. File, save as. So I'm going to just stick this into his folder. I'll stick it on my folder for Mike Shaver. Uh-oh. Got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Cancel. Cancel. Go back out. And I'm downloading it again. I think I lost the file. All right, so I'm going to save the file. And I'm going to, how many would you like me to send you this file today so you can see what to do if this happens? Okay, so this is here. I'll stick it in downloads for now. And there you go. Great, so now I'm going to organize the file. Tools, organize pages, grab the file from the folder I stuck it in, and then I can actually delete the pages I don't want. And then I'm going to write on the pages things that I want to add if I need to. So I'm going to select the file. There we go. And so what it does, it will put the pages in order for you, and then you actually can open it up. It's generating thumbnails, and in just a few seconds, there's all the pages. So here's page, my cover page, draw page 1, draw page 2. You can delete this page, it's just the instruction page. This is the change order 1, change order 2. This is the lien waiver for the change orders, which we don't need because we're not going to have him get paid any money. Okay? Then there's change order 3. So this is change order 1, change order 2, change order 3, and then the change order 4. 1 is for moving the money into contingency. 1 is moving the money out for the cabinetry. 3 is for process, is for the changing to the consultant, and 4 is his fees. So we can get rid of this lien waiver as well. The only lien waiver we need is the final lien waiver that the contractor will sign, and then here's our fee invoice and our pictures. So those are the only fees we need, pages we need, and then we hit save. We save it as the original document, and now we can submit it off for signatures. So we download it back to our folder, and we save it for, now we can add signatures. So now we're not going to talk about adding signatures today. We covered that in the webinar that we had on the tech call this month. So close all tabs. So how many found this useful today? Excellent, thank you. Okay, so let's begin. Where is the $400 for him to take over? That was a payment that the lender chose to pay him directly, Oni. So they cut him the check, and they did not take it. I don't know if they took it out of the escrow account or not, but that wasn't something that is part of his activities. Great question. So we're going to start tonight with one of our newest members who actually just got his certification. He submitted his package, and he got approved very quickly, and his name is Nelson Zavarella from the Orlando, Florida area. Nelson, good evening.
Good evening for all of you guys. Thank you.
I would like you to start off, and what you're going to do is give your name. Well, I already gave your name, your company name, where you're from, which I already did that as well, and just talk about what you've done, what you've completed with 203K activities, and what your goals are for the next month before our next call.
Yes, well, I'm here in Orlando. My name is Nelson Zavarella. My company name is Florida Group Home Inspection. And yes, as you said, I received my certification, and next week I will be performing my first listing FHA minimum standard a pre-listing.
Pre-listing, absolutely. You were talking about you were
Yes.
going to try to market to sellers. You want to explain how you got that opportunity?
Well, I've been marketing that since I met you on Deltona, and so I haven't done anything major yet as a marketing, just word of mouth with my network of realtor. And one of them he came along last week and he told me, Nelson, I have a listing, so I would like to have that FHA minimum standard inspection done once I have the buyer, the seller listing agreement signed. So we set the appointment for next week, and I will be completing that next week. But I'm still doing my word of mouth, and then also I've been preparing some marketing tools and visiting some of the realtors' offices here in my area. So little by little, I know I'm gonna be successful as well doing the 203K, and this is my first goal. As I said, just go ahead and visit all the offices I can and do some presentation. I've been listening your CD, I can tell you, every other day in my car here reading. So because I want to be 100% sure and prepare.
And Nelson has an advantage. I don't know how many of you have this opportunity, but Nelson, tell him what your wife does.
Well, she's a realtor. She does real estate as well. So.
And you're also a realtor as well.
Yes, I do. I'm a realtor. And a long time ago, I used to do appraisals. So I know the appraisal world, how it works. And when you were pointing some of the defects on that file, which one of our colleagues got it. So it's a shame to see some things like that. And I'm here, and also I can tell you every single day when I'm out doing inspection, and I can tell you that sometimes appraisal they overlook stuff which is very important. So
now, Nelson, one of our other colleagues on the call has asked, how much are you charging that seller for his MPS?
Well, this is going to be my first one. So I'm be charges only 280.
That's a great number. That's not bad. That's not a bad number.
Yes.
Yeah, I charge
Yes.
about 275. Yeah, 275, yes. 280 for an MPS standalone. That's great. And remember, you're not going on the roof. You're not taking covers off of panels.
No.
You're not going in the crawl space. It's very, very limited. Good job. So
exactly.
I hope you'll share your results of that on the next call.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. And well, that's basically my goal at the beginning. As I said, I want to make sure, and I know I need extra training with you because I want to know perfectly how the Genesis works and know all the paperwork and procedure.
One-on-one.
A one-on-one. I know that. I know that. I'm not in a hurry. I want to do it right and correctly. So.
Excellent. Okay, thank you, Nelson.
Thank you, Catherine.
Stay on the line. And are you enjoying the call tonight?
Yes, I'm enjoying it.
Excellent. Thank you. We're going to start with the top and work our way down now, and go to Chad. Hi, Chad.
Hello, Catherine.
How you doing?
Doing great tonight. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm a new grandmom again. You there, Chad?
Oh, I'm there. I'm just seeing what you're doing here with the Google search and everything. But I don't have too.
You got a lot. If I write the word Eagles, will that, Let's see what happens if I type that. So this is important, you guys. I did this to let you see what happens when your name pulls up on a typical Google or Yahoo search. So here you can see Groveland, Illinois Home Inspectors.
Yep. So I got the first hit on the LinkedIn, even Internachi website there.
There you go. And so that's what I wanted everybody. You see, Nelson had a lot of links come up, and so I wanted to show yours. I'd like you to talk, if you don't mind, about what your experience was at House of Horrors.
I can definitely do that. House of Horrors was definitely a very unique situation. I did not learn as much as some of the other people because I've been doing this for 2 years now. Some of the people that have not gotten into 2 or 3Ks before, I'm sure they walked out and their heads were just exploding with everything that was going on. trying to learn a
Amen.
new process and trying to experience the entire House of Horrors for what it had to offer. So there's just a lot going on, and I definitely pulled out one or two things from the weekend, so that's always a good thing.
You got to visit a bunch of breweries?
That I did. I think I hit 9 that weekend.
Oh my God. Okay. That was worth it.
It was. I'd definitely go back. I'd check out the House of Horrors as a home inspector if I were to go back to Boulder again.
Well, there's one in Fort Lauderdale that you can go to in October when you come down for that House of Horrors. We're going to have a longer event and have more in-depth information because we're going to actually have a breakout session for those of you who've actually done jobs. We're going to have fun with that.
Well, I may not attend that one. I'm thinking about going to Vegas for Nathan Thornberry's event out there for the Top 3.0.
Oh, wonderful. Excellent. Okay. Either way. That sounds good. So what are you going to be working on over the next 30 days?
Next 30 days, I'm going to be working with Sherilyn to see about having her do some back office stuff for me. So trying to get all that stuff figured out and see how that works. And I get to be her guinea pig to find out if it's going to be worth her going out to other consultants for her to do their work for them.
Excellent. Very cool. Please let me know how that works for you. And
Will do.
Sherilyn's one of the consultants who Chad met at the House of Horrors. Excellent. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you, Chad.
You're welcome.
So next up is James Mitchell. James, you're self-muted, so you can unmute yourself. Hi, James. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Very good. What's going on in your world?
Well, I'm still trying to work that one job that I discussed with you a couple times now. And I got a phone call today from a lender who had a had a need for a home style consultant, wanted somebody to do some draw inspections.
Lovely.
I was going to hopefully get some advice from you on that as well.
Go ahead. Ask your question now.
Well, I guess I don't know a whole lot of information about the job yet. He's supposed to send me an information. I asked him what he had available, if he had a work write-up or an SOR or anything that he could provide with me, and I'm waiting on that to come back to me. So
it sounds like they went to closing, or did they go to closing already?
I think it's already in process. Again, I don't have a whole lot of information. I was waiting for the email from him.
Okay, then schedule a one. This call today about taking over a project might be useful for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate it.
So, and schedule a one-on-one, and we'll go over it. And like I told Mike when he took over this job, make sure you get as much detail as you can, contractors' proposals, any inspection reports that were done if it hasn't gone to closing already, and then you'll be scheduling to go out to the property. And the good news is with the home style, there's no limit on your fees. Your fees can be whatever you want. There's no HUD restrictions because it's not a government program. And also remember with the home style loans, ladies and gentlemen, you are not going to look for any minimum property standard deficiencies. You are merely going to look to have recommended items and desired improvements. There's nothing mandatory because there's no HUD oversight.
Hey, Catherine.
So that situation that we showed with Mike having found that the surface cable was dipping the gutter in the gutter, well, that's a mandatory safety and soundness concern for a HUD job. Before a Fannie Mae, that would be a recommended repair. Make sense?
Okay.
Yep. Catherine,
Yes.
did you want to share that letter that I sent you?
Oh, yes, I have to. I'll do that right now. Yes. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, so that's something that you need to know with Fannie Mae, the home style, there is no mandatory. Okay? You there, Mike? You there, James?
I am. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right. So to answer a question that was brought up, is a change order fee an allowable fee? It is not an allowable fee. That's the whole situation. You cannot add that to your allowable fees before closing, because how do you know how many change orders you're going to need? Okay, so you cannot put it in there as an allowable fee, because how do you know how many you're going to need? It comes out of the contingency reserve. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So next up is Carrie Stout. Hey, Carrie. You're unmuted. Go ahead. All right. Can you talk, Carrie? So I'm putting the file, I just dragged it in to the handouts. So raise your hand if you see the handout with the Start Project Agreement.docx. Okay, so you can download that onto your computer now.
Yep.
Okay, Carrie, can you talk? He must be having some audio trouble. So next is Ludwig. Hello, Ludwig.
How you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Awesome.
Excellent. What's going on in your world?
I sent you that on the Skype the other day. I did a feasible study on a $60,000 loan that turned into a $70-some thousand loan. Never heard another word from the lender or nothing. The other day they called. They wanted some paperwork they weren't even sure about, and they're telling me they're closing next week.
Yeah, I know. You told me that. And no, they're not. They want to, maybe. But unless you can get the contractor's proposal and be able to put it in and get paid for doing that report, they're not going anywhere fast.
I was paid up front.
For the full work write-up?
Yep.
But if it was a $60,000 project and it's now $75,000, they owe you more money.
I know that. I've never heard back. I'm not too worried about the client. The client has sent me multiple more inspections.
Okay.
So I was just surprised, actually shocked. Who did the inspection on any of the work?
So what do you mean? Are you saying it closed and they've done draws? I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
They told me they're closing next week.
Okay, so that no one is doing any inspections until after it closes.
Okay.
So they're waiting for you to give them the paperwork to go to closing.
Yep.
Okay, so they're looking for that from you.
Well, that's what I asked them. Everything I've mentioned, they have no clues. None of it is in their system. So they said, just send me an invoice. That's it.
Okay, well, nothing's going to be in the system until you put it in the system. You need to create the Genesis work write-up, okay, based upon the contractor's proposal. So what you'll need to do is you're going to need to contact the contractor, get him to give you his scope of work, and then you're going to put it into Genesis, and you are going to be the one who's going to create the work write-up document that is then used to go to closing. Okay.
I did that.
So
I did that months ago.
Okay, you created it months ago on a $60,000 project, correct?
Yes.
But they have since revised it, and now it's $75,000, correct?
Yes.
So now you need to do another work write-up with the new numbers, and they will pay you a revision fee. That's what you get, one revision. So if they haven't done any other revisions, you can give them one revision. But this is a document that you're going to need to create, like you see here, that Mike created, that has these numbers matching the contractor's bid. So if the contractor's bid is now $75,000, you need to create a document that copies that and includes all the fees necessary for it to be done.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, you did it before, but they didn't go to closing on that number. You need to now go back and revise it and complete it. And if you already finalized it, you can hit the button to go back and roll it back and reopen the work write-up so you can then edit it again.
Okay.
Okay?
And the company's Divinity Inspection Service.
Okay, when I was looking for you. Okay, yeah, well, I was just going by, I'm putting people's names in, and there it is, Divinity Inspection Service.
Yep.
So I was letting people see what comes up and how high you rank up when we put in your name and the word home inspector. Okay, excellent. So yeah, so you need to send another work write-up to them after you get the contractor's proposal.
Okay.
Okay? And I'm
All
going to
right.
put that start project agreement on the NAFAC page as well in just a few minutes. Okay? So, but yes, so you need to tell the, okay, I understand you're trying to go to closing. I need the contractor's proposal with the new numbers, and then you're going to match his numbers to yours and make sure you understand totally what he's doing. And then you get the additional fee, and then for that new number, and then you give the lender the new final work write-up package. And that's why they're reaching out to you, because they can't go to closing with the documents that they currently have.
But I believe I did that 2 months ago.
But if they've changed the numbers that they're using are not matching what the contractor's proposal are, they can't close. So you just said that you did a write-up for $60,000, but
Correct.
now the project is $75,000.
When the contractor submitted his bid at that time, the new numbers came in and we revised it at that time. And then the new bid was sent to the lender.
Okay, so you sent the lender the paperwork based upon $75,000?
Yes.
Okay, well then they're just taking their time, they're just taking a while to close, and that's not unusual.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're just taking a little while to close, and once they finish closing, you'll just tell the borrower, please call me as soon as you go to closing so that I know, so I can start the clock to do your draws.
All right. What are they talking about? I send you exactly what they asked for.
Oh, hang on for a second. Let me go here and look. Let's see, hang on. LUDW. And you sent it to the Skype group or to me personally?
No, the Skype group for Genesis.
Okay, it's not a Genesis discussion. That's why Genesis, only put in Genesis things that have to do with the program, the software. And
That's what I was asking for the lender, if the lender has something in Genesis to look to see what they should be doing.
no, the lender does not have access to Genesis. You have to send them PDF forms signed by you, and signed by the client and the contractor. So if your forms are not signed by all parties, then that may be what they're waiting for from you.
They don't know what they're waiting for. They're confused.
I'm sorry?
They're confused. They don't know what they're waiting for.
Yes, lenders are confused. They are always confused. So here's the thing. You asked for a step-by-step how-to for the lender. And what I had responded to you, I did answer your comment that that's a series of emails that you can send to them, but you said you're not using ISN. So basically, you're going to need to send them an email saying, okay, I've sent you your work write-up package. You need to get this signed by the borrower and the contractor and submit it to your appraiser and the underwriter for closing. Once you do that, you just sit back and wait for them to go to settlement. That's all you have to do. Okay?
All right.
And if they don't know, and at that point, it's nothing more for you to do. Okay? So if you have some more questions, why don't you schedule a coaching call with me? And if you want to, we can actually have a three-way with the lender, and we can find out what they actually need. Okay?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. But yeah, it's all about just keeping in touch with them and letting them know, hey, what do you need from me? I'm here to help you. You let me know, and I'll be happy to help. Okay?
Okay.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Carrie, are you there? I hear some noise. Can you talk?
I'm here, yes.
Yay, good you're here. Hi, Carrie. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. In fact, I spent the morning getting my documents ready to get my submittals so that I can get approved. So I needed to set up a coaching call with you to get, for you to go through that.
Absolutely. And everyone knows that I've posted it several times to the Power Team site that there's a new link to access the full slate to schedule coaching calls.
Okay.
Okay. So when you want to schedule your coaching calls, you can access it one of two ways. You can access it directly. Hang on, I'll sign in and give you the links. And come on.
And while you're doing that, one of the things that I need to do is put together the little bid. And how much of a bid do you need?
You mean list of repairs?
Yeah, yeah, to create a list of repairs, yeah.
Basically, you only need about, and in your thumb drive under working with contractors is a spreadsheet that you actually can put the figures in.
Okay.
You typically don't, it's typically maybe, I would say like 50 items that you're going to need. Windows,
Okay.
exterior doors, interior doors, GFI outlets, regular, wall outlets, main electrical service panel, HVAC systems, hot water heaters, plumbing fixtures, flooring, etc. There's not a lot, and you can get almost everything that you need from a great program called HomeWise.com.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a free software. It's a free service, totally free, and you can put in materials, everything. I don't even have to think anymore. It's all in here. And so, for example, if you're going, let's say, for example, you're going into HVAC. You can see right there, cost of electric wall heater, cost of electric baseboard heat. So I did a house now, they're doing all electric baseboard heaters. And so you put in your zip code, and it prices it regionalized by your area.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah, I was going to go out and spend money on the Craftsman book series to get.
One more reason why being a member of NAVFAC is a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that saved me money. All right.
So here you can see that you can put your quantity. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. But I like to keep it at 1, because I'll just take this number and stick it in my program. I always go by the high number. Okay? Okay, so there's my high number, and then there's my labor, and then miscellaneous supplies. So $508 to provide and install a baseboard radiator, including the wiring. That's a little high, but it's not bad.
Okay.
And that you can see where it tells you who's doing the work: an unlicensed handyman, a licensed subcontractor, a licensed and certified contractor, or an elite vendor or emergency response. So isn't this awesome? It tells you, and then you're talking about either a direct fit replacement, minor fit position change, major fit position change. And so here it tells you exactly what you're doing. So you can have builder's grade for the level of quality. So now I would probably not have $1,000 in labor. I probably would go with the low numbers on this. These are actually more consistent for my market.
Mm-hmm.
That says elite vendor emergency response, a license. So $350 is about the price. $400 is the price for a single 6-foot-long baseboard radiator tied to the main service panel in my market.
Hey, Catherine.
Yes.
When we were in Boulder, that's just trying to refresh my memory. In using that, didn't you say that it would be like a good rule of thumb to go with the low number and add a certain percentage to it to where you fall between the low and the high?
Well, actually what I do is I take the two numbers and I average them and divide it by 2, and that gives me a baseline middle number.
Okay. I remember you said something about that, and that's...
and then what I do is once I have it, so once I have my number, so let's say, for example, I'm going to say the total cost, labor, and material is $500. So then I'm going to go to Genesis, okay, and then I'm going to go into the line. I'm going to go into a line, and I'm going to actually make that one of my specific costs, so that I never have to bring it up again. So let me get out of your site and log into mine. So let's say I'm doing a project and I need to add a baseboard radiator. Okay, so I'm going to go to a project. So I'm going to go to this project here, and let's say I'm going to roll back to feasibility. And you now can roll back to feasibility. You can roll past contractor bid to work right up. We have a whole lot of things here. So here I'm going to go into my feasibility report. I'm going to go into costs. And from here, I'm going to go into heating. And I'm going to add a line item for heat. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to, you can see where you see install, repair heating unit, heater clean to be serviced, new forced air heating. There's repair baseboard, install electric baseboard heat. Now I can go in and edit that line item now, and you can see where it says install electric baseboard heat. I can edit this, and now I can hard code material is the unit is measures each. My default rate from here for the material, I'm going to say $90, or I'll take the 93. And the labor, I'm going to say, is $250 or $300. So I'm going to say $100 and $300 to give me my middle ground. So I'm going to put $100 for material. And then I'm going to put each, and I'm going to put $300 for labor. And he put down that it's going to take about 3.9 hours, so 3 hours. So we'll say 4 hours. That's a little low. I'm going to say $150 for my radiator cost. Okay. And submit. So now when I go to use this, those numbers will permanently be in my Genesis and always come up for me. So as you start adding line items, as you check HomeWise, as you start getting numbers from contractors, update your defaults so that you have it available for you when you get ready to use it. And Chad, this is going to be important to you because if you're going to have someone else key your reports in, you don't have to have them worry what the costs are. It's just going to be the material and the labor will already be there. So if you're going through a property and you're giving a report to someone who's writing your reports and you say provide and install 3 new vinyl thermal insulated windows standard size, it'll already be in there when you put the cost in. Does that make sense, Carrie?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Does that work?
I'm familiar. I'm familiar with estimating software. I just wanted one that was cheap and easy to use, and that's perfect for what we need to do.
Nothing beats free.
Yeah, and it's simplified enough, to work with too.
Yes.
I don't need anything fancy and complicated.
Correct, exactly. So we love this program. And so to get to schedule a coaching webinar, here's the link. It's http://nafac.fullslate.com. Okay, so that's the only thing you need to do is to schedule a one-on-one coaching is just type in nafac./.com. And you'll be able to schedule a call available times. Okay, and so you can see the schedule right now. I had one call this morning. I had one call that actually went 2 hours.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. We had fun, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
At least I had fun.
And where do I go to learn to set up Skype?
Okay, very good question. You can go to set up, you can learn to go to Skype on the Power Team site, on the home page of the Power Teams Only section. The very first webinar that you'll see is teaches you how to set up Skype.
Okay.
Right here, you go right here where it says 203K Consultant Certification Package Review. The first thing is a training on how to set up your Skype account.
Okay. I know I've seen it somewhere.
It's right there. Can you see it now on the screen?
Yeah, I do see it. And will I need a paid account for that, or can I do the free account?
As long as you're making phone calls to U.S. companies, it's U.S. phone numbers. It's 100% free.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
All right. Yep. Okay.
Great questions, Carrie. Thank you.
The Queen's got you covered, Carrie.
Yeah. After what she did for you. Yeah, she does.
It's all good, guys. It's all good. We have fun. We have a lot of fun. We're growing and getting so much better. I'm so excited. Thanks, Carrie.
You bet.
Michael, you're not going to talk anymore. You're done, aren't you? Are you done?
Do what now?
Are you done?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
You're good? You need anything else? You need to share anything else today?
Don't think so. You're gonna. One question I was going to ask, that letter that we made up.
Yes.
Did you send me a link to that?
I put it on the, I'm going to put it on the Power Team site after the call.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So one more thing I do want to say, everybody, that Mike has been I'm going to say he's been very proactive about doing it. I encourage all Diamond level members, and if you don't know what level you are, it's based upon how much your investment is. If you are paying $197 a month, you are Diamond level. Mike has taken advantage of sending me text messages, and I have been able to respond to him. He sent me text messages when I wasn't available to talk, and I said, hey, I can't talk. And he's like, okay. Please do. Don't feel like you can't talk to me. Mike, have I ever acted like I didn't want to talk to you?
No. I even went to our grandmother's birthday party with her.
Exactly. I was at the nursing home, and he was Skyping me, and I said, I can't talk right now. I'm at the nursing home with my grandma, and I sent a picture of the two of us eating her edible arrangement. So please let me know if I can help you. I will be here for you. I have my phone with me almost all the time, and I would rather you text me and me say to you, hey, I can't talk right now, but let me put you in the calendar, than you wonder when, let's say, for example, the full slate doesn't have an opening and you really need some help. As Mike found out today, I just added him to the calendar. Okay, so please don't hesitate to reach me, guys. I'm here for you, and I want to be here for you. Okay? So next up is one of my dear friends, Oni Shaw. How are you doing, dear?
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
I'm doing great.
Excellent. So what's going on in your world?
We have 3 active projects going. The oldest one is from February, and on May 8th, I got an email saying that they've changed a whole bunch of stuff and could I redo the work write-up? And I said, sure, and I gave them the fee and redid the work write-up and sent it to them on the 8th. And then yesterday, they sent me an email saying that they had a bunch of questions and need answers right away because they couldn't look at it over the past 3 weeks. They had to wait until yesterday. So I assume that's just normal.
3 whole weeks went by, and now all of a sudden they want work done. I
assume this is normal.
It is normal. So you got a phone call from the real estate lender or from the borrower?
It was somebody on the lending side. I'm a little bit confused because my contact had been with somebody whose title was loan manager.
Right. That's the broker. That's just the sales agent. The loan sales agent.
Okay. And then this email came from somebody was the loan project man.
Yeah, that's the underwriter.
Okay. And emailed the entire world, including myself, the client, the contractor, the original loan officer contact that I had, and I couldn't tell who was responding to, and there was a list of like 8 questions or something. But I couldn't tell who. It sounded like some people were giving information. It sounded like a bunch of information was flying around and nobody knew what the other person was saying. So I wrote out a very detailed email that addressed all 8 individual questions and say, let's do this on this one, this on this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and send it to everybody. And I haven't had a chance to check email, so I'm hoping that regains some control and sanity over the process. So
perfect. Excellent. So probably what happened was if things were quiet for 3 weeks, it was probably because the borrower had to get together some things to fix their credit or to provide documentation to qualify for the loan. Now that the borrower is fully qualified, now they're underwriting it, and now they're trying to make like a May 30th closing.
Gotcha. The thing that was confusing to me is that a number of questions that they had, they said things like, we need smoke alarms included in the work write-up. And so in my response on item number 3 or whatever it was, I said, smoke alarms are in the work write-up, so I'm not sure what you need from me.
There you go. Look to section 28.1. You'll see smoke alarms listed in the electrical section. You know, what's your problem? Yeah. So they didn't read it, but they have this list of things they're supposed to look for. And so instead of reading the write-up, they're just going to bug you.
Right. Either they didn't read it or they might be working off the older version, and I'm trying to make sure that everybody has the most current version. That's part of what I'm trying to get everybody on the same page with, is are we all looking at the same one?
Excellent. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we are working to get it to the lenders, actually that the lenders and the borrowers can actually get into Genesis. That way they can see the most current file.
Gotcha. So aside from that, everything's going great. I keep thinking that this one fell by the wayside because it was so long ago, and then just as I've given up on it, all of a sudden I get a call and it's still going. So all 3 of them are still in underwriting.
In play. Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. So keep in touch.
I will definitely do that.
All right. Wonderful. Next up is Patrick Werrell. Hello, Patrick. Can you talk, Patrick? Oops, let me unmute you. There you go. Now try.
Yeah, hello there.
There you go. Hi, Patrick.
Hey, it's good to hear everybody. Hey, guess what? I'm going to be a granddad for the first time myself, and any day now.
congratulations. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, right? Yeah, my daughter lives in Washington State.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Over in Oni's country.
Yeah. I'm trying to get the volume up here so I can hear, but yeah, everything. I'm working on 3 projects now. Two are full case. One is a $30,000. The second one, which closed, I believe tomorrow it closes, worth $100,000, and then I have that Fannie Mae home style for $200,000. And thanks for helping me out with that, Catherine.
Oh, my pleasure.
Every time I listen, I'm learning a great deal, and we're telling me that the lender's not obligated on a home style to have me as the draw inspector.
Yep.
So right. So I just sent her an email and said just keep me informed. Let me know if you want me to do the draws. But I don't see why they wouldn't want me to do it, and why would they pick somebody else? And also,
some loans. What is the dollar amount of the home style?
It's the repair costs are $200,000.
Oh, they're going to use you. Oh no, it's similar to the smaller jobs. If it's like 30,000 or less.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because the purchase price is like $545,000, and this is this.
I hope you got a nice fee on that.
Yeah. So this particular lender, the mortgage loan officer wanted to meet me because they had a hard time finding somebody. They got some extraordinary fees from somebody up north. So when they found me, I said, well, I'd like to come in and meet you guys, you know. So they said, yeah, that's great. So I went in there and I prepared a folder with your binder.
Excellent.
With all the paperwork, and show them this is how I give the borrowers all the write-up and all the information, all the documentation, and the folder like in a binder like this, and they were very impressed. They asked me a few questions. I met with some other guys, and yeah, it's really great. I'm getting very excited over this, and things are just picking up.
Fantastic. Well, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So what is your goal for the next month?
My goal for the next month is to start setting up some educational workshops at some real estate offices and invite some lenders.
Excellent. Very nice. I actually was in Jersey. I was at Mercer County Community College, and I did a real estate. I was at Mercer County Community College Tuesday, in fact, and did a CEU 203K training class with a lender. And so I need you. It's a holiday weekend, but I want to actually have you give me a call at some point soon because I want to be able to connect with you on that.
Sure, absolutely. I'm very excited about it.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, wonderful.
All right, take care.
Okay, you too. Have a great evening, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Stay online, though. Next, we have Robin Schoberg. Hello, Robin. Robin, you there? I've unmuted you. Are you good? Might not be able to. Robin? Okay. Robin, when you can get your phone working or your computer working, just let me know. So Nelson asked the question, Catherine, can I use the NAFAC logo? Absolutely. You can always use the NAFAC logo on any of your materials on your website. Please feel free to do so, Nelson. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And Ludwig made a comment. And please, guys, you guys can stay unmuted. And if you have a comment, you can just go ahead and say it. Ludwig made a comment that just for info, the lender likes the uniformity of the Genesis report. And that's exactly what we're working for lenders to like the fact that they can see the same report from one city to the next, from one consultant to the next, no matter who they're talking to. So we're really excited about that. So way to go. And next up is Tom Kruger. Hey, Tom.
Hi, Catherine.
Are you going to come to Orlando or to Fort Lauderdale in October?
We're trying. Hopefully we'll be able to.
Good, good. So what's going on in your world?
We've chatted about the project that I had, and it's an older home built about 60 years ago basement had 7-foot ceiling height. And,
oh, yes. Yes, we have been talking about that.
And just a note for other consultants out there, we did a meeting with the local builders, or not builders, the local city and village to determine what they felt we needed to do, and they hit us with about $18,000 of additional repairs, because as the stairwell from the first floor to the basement fell underneath the 6'8" height requirement. And they were making us move headers, move all kinds of things. And so we went to the city and said, I think we need an exemption here. Guess what happened? We got the exemption and cut their costs in half.
Oh, wow.
So it sometimes pays to go to, stick your neck out a little bit for your client. We were able to eliminate about $8,000, and the city said, you don't need to move the, because of, like I said, from the bottom of the floor joist to the top of the concrete in the basement was only 7 feet. And it's been that way. They decided to grandfather it in because to start changing things would have meant changing HVAC ductwork, would have meant changing, moving the furnace, may have meant just a change in the chimney, or at least how they would get to it. And they said, we think we'll back off on that, because to have to spend $8,000 to do a renovation in your basement, we think is a bit much. And I said, thank you.
So the deal died?
No, the deal didn't die. They're not
going to finish the basement. They're just going to leave the basement as an unfinished space.
No, I'm sorry, maybe I didn't. The city inspector, when we pushed it as a request to the city to get a variance and allow it to be as it existed, to be grandfathered in, they agreed with our contention that it should be grandfathered in and reduce those additional costs that
so they're not going to require that you replace the entire stairwell and dig out the floor and do all that jazz?
Yep.
And they're going to let them finish the basement?
And they're going to let us finish the basement without having to go through.
So much money.
Oh, yeah. And I look like a real champ in front of my client, because I suggested going for a variance, and the city agreed. Now my question is, I'm having a hell of a time trying to get the contractor to give me new numbers.
Because you already went to closing on the original numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, but why won't he give you new numbers?
That's what we're trying to figure out, both the client and myself. We've been bugging them now for about a week to 10 days. We need a revision of your numbers of the additional $18,000 that the city had said they told us that we needed for the repairs as they had suggested at the meeting. And now that they've cut that back, I need him to give me his numbers. I can guess what they're going to be.
Okay, but here's my question. You already have numbers in your scope of work. Why are you not able to just use those, since the city's letting you grandfather and not requiring the extra 18 grand?
Oh, that 18 grand came in after the
scope of
work write-up was in.
Right, exactly, after you closed. So since that's no longer a requirement, why can't you just go back to the numbers that you closed on?
Because there's still the amount that they came up with was like 18 grand. We only had 11 grand in the contingency, or 8 grand in the contingencies.
Okay, so you still have to do an additional 18 grand, you're saying, even though...
No, now I've got it cut down to 10 grand. And so I've got $8,500 in contingency.
Oh,
I've still got to find that other $1,500. And I'm not real happy about going into construction with having nothing left in contingency.
I would do this, okay? This is all work to do a basement, correct?
No, we've got
The
kitchen.
basement with the bathroom, etc., in the basement.
Yep, and we've got contingent. We have 2 bathrooms and a kitchen upstairs.
Okay, so now you need $10,000 more to do the extra repairs required by the municipality for code for this basement portion remodel, correct?
Yep.
So now, in that basement remodel, what my suggestion is this, okay? I would wait till you get to 80% complete on everything else in the house and then start that basement remodel. I would get the numbers from the contractor on how much, because you need 10,000 and you don't have it. I would wait till you got 80% complete on the other areas of the home, see if there's some cost savings that you can affect in the other areas to move money into the contingency, and then once you've completed 80% of everything else, then start and do the basement.
One of the things that we're talking about with the client is removing all the appliances.
Yes.
And buying them at the end. That gives us about $7,000.
There you go. That's exactly right. The only appliance that must be included in a 203K is, ladies and gentlemen, say it with me.
The range.
The range.
Range.
Exactly. So if he does not have a range, that's the one appliance you must keep in that appliance number.
He does. There is one there. We originally want to replace it, but like my client says, if I have to, I'll eat with it.
There you go. Right. So here's what I would say to do. I would submit a request to the loan officer so that they understand what's going on. That, hey, we want to take off the appliances, make that a cost savings change order, move that money into contingency so that we have enough of a cushion to do everything we need to do with the rest of the house, plus have the $10,000 we need for the basement. And then at the end, whatever's left over, they'll buy the additional appliances. And I would get that done now, and that way you can put the money into the contingency to cover the contingency needs of all the items, plus the basement, and you can get the contractor to rework his numbers for how he's going to break down the extra cost to meet the new needs of the township.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Super.
Thank you so much.
It's been challenging with this contractors.
Trust me, we can work it out.
Yeah, the funny thing is they have their own in-house 203K consultant.
Really? That's cool.
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm having some problems with them, because they're used to being a little, should I say, loose around, a little loose around the edge.
Yeah, and you know what? That should not be allowed, because there's a conflict of interest if the consultant is in the same company as the contractor.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, that if somebody's not catching that, and as we can see, underwriters don't catch everything, that could be a conflict that could cause a client a problem, and it might be something that needs to be pointed out to some of the lenders that you're working with. Hey, if you're working with this person here, you may want to know that this contractor and the consultant are in the same company, and at the very least, there should be some sort of a disclosure statement made that says that, this is the same company, because I can easily see a consultant siding with the contractor against a borrower when it serves the interest of the contractor.
Oh, that's. I'm starting to. They keep looking at me like with a jaundiced eye as the contractor, because I keep asking them questions about, like, I need this information, I need that information. They come back and go, well, why?
Yeah, because they're not being required to jump through hoops by the in-house consultant. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Okay.
Pass that on.
Uh-huh.
I'd say passing that on.
Yeah, passing that on, exactly. Pass that on to some of the lenders, that why you should be used instead of that consultant, especially if that contractor is on the list. Okay? And last but not least, my loving, wonderful friend, Vince. I unmuted you, Vince. How are you doing?
I'm doing just great. Better than I deserve, Catherine. How you doing? You're sounding really good.
Thank you. I'm doing real good. We went a little long tonight, but we had a lot of good content. Was it worth the time?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I've been writing things down here left and right. I just wanted to let you know, I've been doing this for, 4 or 5 years now, and I just realized you were talking about no mandatory items for a home style. I didn't, I think I remember hearing that, but it never really quite sunk in until just now. It just sort of smacked me in the face here, but thank you very much. But they still have to pass the MPS, minimum property thing, right?
Not for a home style. Home style is a convention.
Really? Nothing,
it's a convention.
Oh, darn. You just go out there and do whatever they want, huh?
That's right.
Oh, geez. Okay. That could have taken care of a lot of anguish here over the last few years, but I'll keep that in mind. I got it written down.
Good.
And default money costs on, I got another note, I don't know what it's all about here, but Diamond, okay, I think it's probably about, I got 2 projects going now that just did the first draw on one, and the first draw on the second one's coming up in a couple of weeks, and it's always a challenge, getting that first one done. So it's been 2 weeks, we're still waiting for money. The loan processing people are, I think they're just beginning or learning. So we're getting permits and stuff still going in, and all the paperwork and so forth. So it's a work in progress. So, but it's coming along. I finally got in touch with the loan processor and her boss, the VP of Home Loans at Umpqua Bank. Excellent. And sounds very impressive, but it didn't really sound like she was real experienced when I was talking to her on the phone. But anyway,
you've got to know, guys, these loan officers, Ludwig made the comment, okay? Tom made the comment. Mike made the comment. These lenders don't know what they're doing. In fact, they're not only do they not know what they're doing, but as you saw with the example with Mike, they're doing the wrong things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So you have to maintain a confidence. And I think one of the biggest things that you need to do is, if you approach the situation with confidence, the way Tom did with the situation, saying, hey, let's go to the township, ask for a variance, save ourselves almost close to 10 grand, you do know more than these people. Just because of the fact that you are on these calls, they don't have any ongoing continuing education with 203K. They have very little education at all. So they need you to guide them, and they will welcome it, and they will become loyal to you because of the guidance you give them. So Nelson, when you're out there working to converse with real estate agents, go first to the in-house lender. Tell the lender, yes, I'm a consultant, I am approved, I know what I'm doing, and not only do I know what I'm doing, I have a network of support. Even though I just got my certification, don't tell them you just got your certification number. I didn't want Mike to tell them that he just got his number. But he did, okay. But he said, but I'm working with the executive director of the National Association of FHA Consultants who's going to guide me through this. Go to the lenders and say, hey, look, I know that 203K is something you might not be doing a lot of, but I have a powerful team, I have great resources, and I can answer any question you have. And you can say that with confidence, all of you. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It does. It does.
That's my,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I like it. Everybody wants to talk. So who wants to go first? Go ahead, Vince.
Yeah, well, I got a new inspection name that I'm beginning to use, and it's called VIP. That's for Vargas Inspection Professionals -FHA Home Inspections.
Very nice.
Yeah, you might want to Google that up there. I've been using it for a little while, and I've gotten calls, well, this is an FHA, and you seem to be the FHA guy, so so I've been doing those FHA, inspections and work some of the
FHA home inspections. Very nice. Well, what I was going to say, and this is a great point, and I like what you did. And this is what I was going to say. I want all of you to get to a place where I can Google Chad Dunham 203K and see what comes up. Okay? And so there you can see that it did 203K in a box consultant. There you can see you're listed on our roster right there, and it comes up with your company name. Okay, so this is an organic search that we have, and I'm really glad to see that that's actually, we're getting that link to work, and we're going to have the NAFAC links up too. I'm redoing that entire website, but you can see if you take Chad Dunham 203K, it brings you up as a 203K in a box consultant.
All right. How about Vince Vargas 203K?
Let's try that. And there you are, Vince.
Oh, holy cow. All right. Everywhere, huh? Jeez.
Okay. Sound like a plan, huh?
I got to change my name again, huh?
Don't do it. Leave it alone.
You're fine. 203K in there. FHA 203K.
Exactly. So,
okay.
So we want to make sure that all of you are getting to the place where you type your name and 203K comes up. But then you can just tell people, hey, you can just Google me, Vince Vargas 203K, and you'll find me.
There you go.
Okay? Way to go, Vince.
Appreciate your time and everything.
My pleasure, dear. And Bill May, you snuck on the call. How are you tonight, Bill?
I'm good.
What's going on?
Oh, we're just working away here in Oklahoma.
You had a question about a borrower doing work on their own, and that is a big, it's after 11 o'clock Eastern time, so we're going to be ending in just a few minutes, but please schedule a coaching call with me because that's a whole conversation about self-help.
All right.
And usually the answer is going to be no. Okay.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make sure I wasn't overlooking something, but yeah, I was pretty much, they're wanting to do more than what they ought to be doing.
No. And here's the thing you need to, and here's how you, and ladies and gentlemen, this is how you very quickly and easily discourage someone from wanting to do their own work. Let them know this. Hey, you want to do your own work, you will not get any money up front. You'll have to pay for the materials, and then you'll be reimbursed for the materials after, when I do the draw inspections.
Sounds good.
Okay, so if you say to them, hey, look, if you're trying to do a self-help 203K where you wanted to do the work yourself, we're going to have to escrow the amount it would be for a contractor to do the work. Even though you want to do it, we still have to cover the fact that what if something happens and you don't get it done. So we're going to have to escrow the amount to have a contractor do it. Then you're going to have to buy all the materials, put your own sweat equity labor into it, and then when I inspect it, you will only be paid based upon actual receipts you provide to me. Once they hear all that rigmarole, they'll probably say, forget it.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Okay, well, things are going good. I appreciate all your help and your team. Great bunch.
All right, guys. Well, listen, we went a little longer. We've had some shorter calls. This is one of our longer calls. Was it useful? Did it help what I showed you, me working with Bill, working with Mike on his really exciting project?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
All right, because you're going to have this happen, and you may not remember what I've taught today, but you'll know that you'll be able to find it because this is going to be sorted and searchable on the website. So you'll be able to say, taking over a project with trouble, and it's going to be a searchable links, and you're going to have keywords, and we're really going to be really expanding the website. So I'm really looking forward to giving you guys a whole lot of more fingertip access to information. But in the meantime, until I'm able to support you in the future, if you type in my name, there's only one person that comes up.
Yep.
And that's what we like.
That's the point.
Huh?
The one and only.
The one and only. So I want to thank you all so much for being on the webinar. Have a happy Memorial Day holiday. Be safe out there, everyone. It's the beginning of summer.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm going to be spending the first week of July in New Mexico. So
congratulations on being grandmother again.
I know. I'm making it happen. We're very proactive in the grandmotherhood here. So listen, guys, I'm going to end our call. Thank you so much. Schedule one-on-ones. Text me if you need me, and I will be available. So until I'm able to support you in the future, you know what I like to say, be outstanding. Good night.
Thank you very much. Take care. Appreciate it very much.
Same here. Bye-bye.
Bye now.